Today we are going to examine corporate monopolies, which was touched on in Chapter 1, Section 6. What is a monopoly? It is described as an industry with only one seller, and consumers can only obtain a product or service from that seller. A few examples of what I would consider to be monopolies are Duke Energy, Axon Enterprise, and the infamous Ticketmaster. Public utilities are a common example of natural monopolies, which require a large amount of cash to get started. Those of us local to North Carolina are surely familiar with Duke Energy for this reason. Axon Enterprise is an example of a company who sells physical goods. Particularly law enforcement agencies get supplied with tasers and body cams from this company. Axon has an 85% market share and therefore not a complete monopoly, but take a peek at the upper right-hand corner the next time you watch a police body cam video. I'll bet my next paycheck that you will see Axon's name there. And then there is probably the most infamous monopoly operating today, Ticketmaster. They have a complete stranglehold on every aspect of live concerts. Since acquiring Live Nation, Ticketmaster now controls the ticketing, promotion, and venues for just about every live act around the country. So that leads to the question, is competition good for consumers? The answer is unequivocally yes. Competition leads to lower prices, better selection, higher quality service, innovation, and it creates a more fair system for consumers and businesses alike. In a monopolistic state, businesses have the luxury of pricing their products in a way that maximizes profit without having to worry about losing revenue to more affordable competitors. A natural characteristic of having more vendors in the market is better selection and product diversity being offered to consumers. Competition also incentivizes higher quality customer service. Think about it. If there is no fear of losing a sale to the guy down the street, then why would a business invest resources in providing non-income generating services? Overall, healthy competition in the business world provides an equitable environment that benefits consumers and small to mid-level companies alike. Competition allows the open market to determine value, and that is the foundation of capitalism. Now let's take a look at another company that can be considered a monopoly, Fair Isaac Corporation, better known as FICO. Very basically, FICO provides credit scoring models that lenders use when making decisions related to approving or denying credit applications. They have a 90% share in the credit scoring market and a history of significant year-over-year price increases. In November 2024, FICO announced their plan to increase the price of their credit scoring models by 41% for 2025. Coming at a time of rising interest rates and declining consumer sentiment, credit report costs soared over the new year, and of course those costs are ultimately passed down to the consumer. Despite backlash from the lending industry, FICO had no reason to back down due to no viable alternatives to their product being widely available. Even prior to the most recent price hike, Missouri Senator Josh Hawley penned a letter to the Attorney General's office asking them to investigate FICO for monopolistic practices. Here is what FICO's stock price has done over the past couple of years. Look, it is normal and expected for companies to profit and grow. I have no issue with that, but this type of growth seems excessive. In my mind, this is yet another indicator of them perhaps being a monopoly. So what can be done? Well, if you are concerned about monopolistic behavior in corporate America, then you can make your voice heard by contacting your elected officials. As discussed a couple of slides ago, Congress really does act like they care about this issue. In regards to FICO, government-sponsored entities such as Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have the authority to revisit mortgage underwriting guidelines whenever they want to. I would argue that they should modify guidelines that allow for more reliance on qualitative credit data as opposed to hyper-focusing on the numerical score. It's worked in the past.